something to say.
Hello everybody and welcome to Project Shadow episode number 563, Korrasami Ride the Turtleduck. Hi, I'm Eric. You may know me as author C.E. Dorset, writer of science fiction and fantasy novels, From the Chain to Fate's Horror. Those are my two most recent books that are out. Just want to say hi everybody. Before we get started, over the weekend I decided to try to resurrect the old Project Shadow Facebook group because, I don't know, it seemed like something to do. Why, shouldn't allowed to be bored on a Saturday. Anywho, we're up to 13 members over there, which is cool. There's a lot of conversation going on, a lot of cool stuff being shared, including some of the stuff that's going to be on this episode of the podcast. So, head on over and check it out. It is the official Project Shadow Facebook group. You can find it on Facebook. Project Shadow, yeah. Should be able to find it. I need to find out if there's a way to link it to the page. That would be really, really awesome. But that's probably a feature that they don't offer because it would be useful. And it doesn't have me give them money. Yeah. Anywho, lots of fun stuff going on over there. You can check us out over there or at our official social website, the Project Shadow Agenda at projectshadowagenda.com, where you'll find these stories and more, including all of our wonderful show notes over yonder. Well, my day started a very, very interesting way. I turned on my Apple TV, and what did I see? Oh, there's an Apple event. So I watched the Apple event. And the Apple event started with them announcing the new HBO Now service. Yeah, didn't expect that at an Apple event. Probably should have, but I didn't. Anyway, it's going to be coming around in early April, and it's going to be $15 a month, and you have to have an Apple device to use it. Didn't expect that. That was kind of a surprise to me. But in a way, it makes sense. This is a way for HBO to open themselves up, but not make every cable company really, really mad at them, because you have to have an Apple device, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, you know. I'm one of those people that I don't understand why you wouldn't want something to be everywhere that it could be, but then again, if I were Apple, I'd be really, really happy about this. I've had an Apple TV since the Apple TV 1. I've actually had a 1, 2, and a 3, which is the one that I currently have. I actually have the 3 Mark II at the house right now, and I love them. It's a great little device, and now you'll be able to subscribe to HBO directly through it. So that's interesting. Well, starting in April. That's interesting. So we'll see how that works. Oh, and while we were watching the Apple event, they decided to premiere a new Game of Thrones trailer. Yeah, yet again, something I really was not expecting at an Apple event. Though, again, maybe I should have been. This one has it's almost entirely Daenerys talking over it about her desire and plans to end the Game of Thrones. That the endless cycle of people being stepped on and squashed and harmed in the name of who their leaders and rulers are has to be stopped, and that she is going to be the one to stop it. Lots of really, really crazy, cool images in here. Lots more dragons. If I were to guess, this lets me think that we're going to see Drogon at least twice. I'm assuming 3 times this season. And it looks like that poster, that really, really cool Game of Thrones poster we were talking about with Tyrion looking up and Drogon in the mist. Yeah, that might not have just been a poster thing, because there is a boat and Drogon flying over, and that could be really, really interesting. We know more about the first 3 episodes that are coming out, and they made a lot of really good announcements. It sounds really exciting. Don't really want to speculate too much because I want to see it, and I don't want to speculate, even though I have been enjoying other people speculating about what all's going on this season. A lot of them are coming at it from a book perspective, and just the fact that Dan and Dave have already said that they're going to kill somebody off who's still alive in the books, which they did last season too, remember. I think one of the things that they really want to kind of point out is that the gloves are off. By the end of this season, they will have completely caught up with the books, and for some characters surpassed them. So we'll have to see what that means for the future of the shows and their relationships to the books. We do know that when the show was bought, they were supposedly told by George R.R. Martin how the series was going to end. So presumably the two series, the books and the TV series, will go in a similar direction, but may not get there the same way. Or Dan and Dave may not have liked the end that George R.R. Martin told them about and have decided to do their own. That'll be interesting to see if that's the case as well. But all in all, the trailer looked really good. I'm excited about the new features that are coming, to HBO now. I'm glad that they're finally decapeling themselves. That's a good thing. And of course, new Mac, new stuff. Lots of new stuff. It was a new Mac day in a lot of ways. But they didn't announce a new Apple TV, which kind of surprised me, because I would have thought that they finally would have gone, and we have a game console. But then again, we exclusively have HBO. That was kind of a really big get, so I can understand why they went the way that they did. It was interesting. Okay, so we've been talking about this Arrow spinoff show that they're doing, starring the Atom and a couple other characters. They're casting 3 new characters that sound interesting. I'm not going to go through their full descriptions just because, let's face it, one of the things that Greg Berlanti has done a really good job with is taking the characters that we know from the comics and reinterpreting them in a really exciting and fun way for the TV. And I like what they did with Firestorm. I like what they've done with the Flash. It's been exciting to see what they've done so far. So I think it's almost more interesting to kind of look at the types that are being cast and try to figure out what characters we think they might be. I'm going to start with what I think for me is the least interesting character, and that is an African-American male who's simply referred to as a mystery hero. Not a lot of detail given on him. More than likely, from everything that I have seen, he's probably going to be Static, Black Lightning, or Black Vulcan. I kind of hope for Static. I think that would be really, really cool, especially on TV, seeing how well they were able to pull off Firestorm. I think Static would be a very interesting character for them to play, and he's the one that I'm rooting for on here. The mystery hero is described as an African-American male in his 20s, will fill the role of a regular, street-smart guy who unexpectedly gains powers and then, as part of the team, regularly quips about the insanity of the situations. That sounds like Static to me. It just sounds like Static. Whether it's going to be or not, I don't know. But maybe. Could be an interesting way for them to go. The next is simply referred to as a female warrior. Quote, "This 20-something Latina is pretty but unassuming, book smart and socially awkward by day, but by night, when she hears the cry of battle, her fury is ignited and she becomes a fierce warrior. So much so that sometimes she can become a threat to others." That is an interesting description. Several of the sites that I have linked to believe that this is a character named Fury. I think that's possible because she is one, let's just say they use the word. She's a character that came about in the 1950s, 40s as a Nazi fighter. She is a very interesting character in and of herself. She has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, and super leaping. That's if she's Fury. If she's Blood Avenger, then she would have the superhuman strength and speed, flight, and heat vision. So, maybe... I mean, this does sound like the most, I can see where this is coming from. I personally hope that what we're going to see is... There was a female wildcat, and I would like to see it be her. I think she would be very, very interesting. But, I don't know. Who would you like it to be? To me, the most interesting one, because in some ways they could go a lot of different ways with this, is a character named the Traveler, described as a, quote, Han Solo-esque rogue who gets by with his charm. This hero hails from the future and has journeyed back in time on a secret mission. His razor-sharp wit hides the pain of a man who has lived through serious conflict. He also harbors many secrets, always leaving both his teammates and audience unsure of his true allegiance. Several characters this could be, and I actually would hold out that it doesn't even have to necessarily be any of the time-traveling heroes that we know of from the comics in and of itself. My hope in a lot of ways is that this is Booster Gold. Booster Gold has always been a favorite character of mine. He comes from the future where he is not really special enough to be a hero and comes back here to be one. I believe there is a version of his story where he actually committed a crime and escaped into the past and is trying to make amends for what he did here because, he won't be able to there. I have always loved Booster Gold. I think he's a very interesting character in that he kind of has superpowers. He has a wonderful little robot sidekick that I would also love to see them bring along with him. But he has kind of an insecurity as a hero that makes him really interesting. And I'm not familiar with much that's quite like it. So that would be my vote for who that should be. But then again, it really could be just about anybody. I mean, whoever they really want to fit in these roles that they can get the rights for. I mean, technically, if they wanted to do something that would just blow everybody away, the female warrior could be a Batwoman or a Batgirl, but I doubt that they would get the rights to that. They could be taking somebody like Cheetah and making her a hero. Maybe they have seen the Vixen stuff, really, really liked it, and they're going forward with that. But that should be an African-American character, if I'm not mistaken. So, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting ways they could go, and I can't wait to see what they do with this. They've done such a good job with both Arrow and Flash, which we'll be talking about this week because they should be having new episodes this week, I believe. I'm almost at the point where I'm not going to say that I have blind faith that Supergirl, Vixen, and whatever this team-up show ends up being called is going to be amazing, but I think we are... The one thing that I want to say about this superhero show, this team-up show, that's been bugging me, is they brought up the Creature Commandos in this season of Arrow. So far, they haven't done anything with them. We've just seen the general running around. So we don't know what they're going to be doing with them, whether there's going to be a Frankenstein and blah, 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 the other members of the group. It could be bizarrely interesting if that's what they're doing in this spin-off show. This team-up show is kind of doing a Creature Commandos style thing, and we're going to see versions of those characters, and that's why they're being so tight-lipped. It would also explain why we're going to see some of the characters that we've seen listed. I don't know. It would be really interesting because then instead of doing Frankenstein, you could actually give that role to Sarah and be the undead hero. Interesting, huh? I don't know, just a thought. Speaking of Green Arrow, John the Rogue Demon Hunter shared into the Facebook group this wonderful video. It's a vid for a fake movie, Batman vs. Green Arrow. And it uses clips from the Christian Bale Batman movies as well as the Arrow TV series. And I have to say, I would watch this movie because Oliver Queen would kick Kristen Bale's butt so hard. It would be very entertaining. So definitely check this out if you haven't gotten to yet. Videos up on the agenda right now. It is hilariously fun, and I enjoys it a lot. And last but not least, the creators of Legend of Korra, Brian to be specific, has announced that they are going to be selling an original Korrasami print and give the proceeds to support LGBT suicide prevention hotlines. That's amazing. I'm just looking at this picture. If you want to see the picture, head over to the agenda and take a look at it. It is stunningly beautiful and romantic at the same time. It actually is a furtherance of the story because we get to see them in the spirit world. What are Korra and Asami doing in the spirit world? And it really makes me want to have a turtle duck. I kind of want to ride around in a turtle duck. I really do. This is beautiful, and I hope it raises a lot of money, and it's wonderful that they have actually taken this to heart and started doing, they let the characters be who the characters wanted to be, and we got such an amazing, strong female relationship out of them. It really does warm the heart. Well, that's it for today. Not a whole heck of a lot going on. There'll be more on tomorrow's show, as well as the upcoming talk about some of the superhero shows that should be coming back this week. Been really working on the new story, Sands of Time. I worked on some artwork today that will be coming out around the release of it. This story kind of blows my mind. I've been talking to Brian about it, and he gave me some pointers the other day, and I think the easiest way to say this is imagine a space opera Indiana Jones story. And I think that's a little bit of a hint at the way this story is going. I'm really excited. If you'd like to get it, this one in particular is going to be free to every member of the newsletter, every subscriber to the newsletter. So head over to projectshadow.com and sign up for the newsletter over there. And as soon as the story is finished, it will go out to all the members of the newsletter exclusively for a while. So definitely do that. And it'll be free. And you get to keep up with everything that I'm doing. And hopefully get some good, nice tips on what you should be doing. Our last newsletter was about how to make sure that your passion for living stays strong, which is something we all need to learn, especially nowadays. Well, keep your chin ups, everybody. It's been fun talking to you. Have the fun, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.